Would you look at that? It's my first time not wearing an orange or red shirt in one of these videos. Took me a while, but I do have shirts that are different colors. That's crazy. Okay, this one's less of a planned video and more of just a catching back up real quick. Looks like my last video was on June 23rd. It is currently July 14th, so it's been a little while. Just figure I will catch back up with you and let you know how things been going. So, June 23rd, what have I done since then? Let's look. June 23rd. Alright, that was a Sunday. So, had a midterm quiz. I did really good on that one. I was happy with that. I feel like he sets you up well for those. So, do what he says, study what he says to study, and he sets you up for success. Intro to clinical was on rocky on that one. I didn't feel good at all. I walked out feeling miserable. End of the exam, I just felt the confidence was not there at all. I ended up doing good on it. Got an 85. I'll leave it at that. And then let's see. That week I studied for 56 hours. So I only had intro to clinical was my only exam that week, and then midterm was that quiz. I don't even know why I have these in. Okay. First week of July. Let's see, I covered a lot. I did pretty good. I got a 90 on that one. Airway, I did really good on that one. I expected to do. Let's see. I can't remember how many questions it was. We'll just call it 50. I think I had 4 coin flips where I'd forget what one of the answer choices was. So I was coin flipping it on the answer because that very easily could have been the right answer. But I ended up winning those coin flips. I got over a 90 on that one, so I was super happy about that. And then let's see. Studied for less hours that week. Just how things turned out, I guess. Our classes got shuffled around the next week. The week of the 7th. Because we had our mentor-mentee social. So that was pretty fun. Wednesday was EKG. I did pretty good on that one. It covered a lot more of the meat and potatoes of it. Exam 1 was kind of more of an intro to EKG, I guess. And then this second exam was, alright, you know about EKGs, can you read them? So, happy that one went my way. I guess in the interest of transparency, I got a 91.27 on that one. So that was good. And then there was the anatomy practical. Don't know the grade on that one. I feel like I did pretty good. I think it was 40 questions. So I think I missed 2 or 3. So that puts me mid to low 90s. So chilling with that. This week of the 7th. Let's see. Yeah, I studied a good bit. I didn't study voraciously, but I still studied a fair amount. Let's see, what was yesterday? Yesterday I studied about 4 hours. I could do the math, but eh. So, finals aren't exactly knocking on the door, but they're not far away at this rate either. Our finals are the week of August 4th, so we're getting there. It's just kind of a grind at this point, because a lot of these exams are kind of stacking on each other. In fact, this week, not this week, the week of the 14th, so yeah, I guess it is technically this week, is pretty much the last week I'm only going to have one exam. There's one other one where I only have one exam, but then it's finals. So that's rough. But one of my strategies that I will implore that everyone in this program do, I'm going to tell my mentee that, I'm going to tell him to tell his class, or him or her to tell their classmates, I'm going to tell every single person. I'm telling my friends to do this too, and everyone in between. do really good on the first couple of exams, right? Because that way you know what you need to do on the next exams. It's less to worry about, right? So let me just, I don't want to do this so I can show you. Let me just find a random page, right? I'm just going to like April. So let's say that the breakdown of the grades, I'm drawing it out. Let's say 5% is from homework, I don't know. 20% from quizzes. So that's 25%, so that leaves, so let's just say 35% is from exam 1. So then let me see how this works out. Let's see, that's 60%, I think, right? So that's 5 plus 20 plus 35, that's 60. So then let's just say 40% is the final. Right, so this is kind of the breakdown I'm looking at right here. So homework, that should be an easy 100. You do your homework. Quizzes, let's say you're getting a 90 on that. Alright, so then exam 1. Alright, let's say it's earlier in the semester, you're like 4 weeks in, or, well, I mean, this is a shorter semester, so we'll just say you're 5 weeks in. Right, you study really hard, you have not a lot else going on. Alright, you crank out and you get a 90, right? So those are your grades. Focus, not on me, on the paper. Okay, it's not one to focus, but I think you get the idea, right? So I'm going to crunch the numbers real quick and tell you what you would need to make on the final. So, 1 second. Okay, crunch the numbers. So, if you see right there, there we go. So 5% of your grade is homework, you get 100. 20% of your grade is quizzes, you get a 90 average. 35% comes from exam 1, you study really hard, you get a 90. And on the final, right, see how I have 60 written in there? So even if you get a 60 on the final, you can see your final grade is a 78.5% because you put in all of this work up here. And 78.5% is passing. So if you overload yourself in the beginning and really study hard as you can, then by the end of the semester, when it's finals, you can take a little breather, right? And that means the world, because finals is going to be 1 week. It's not getting spread out. You're taking finals in 1 week. So knowing that you have this cushion of points to kind of absorb your future slacking is magical, because this isn't like undergrad. Undergrad, it was less intense, but also B, GPA was huge in that you're constantly worried about, okay, well, I'm going to, NSU, their average GPA entering is, I don't know, we'll call it like a 3.6, so I know that I got to stay above that. And, any B brings you down and any A brings you up, so each one is important. But for here, you're already in. GPA isn't bad as long as you are not failing. I don't know if I'm allowed to disclose what our exact line is, but I'll just say that 78.5 means you get to see the next semester. You can move on. You're just fine. You're treated no different than anybody else. So make sure that you're front loading, because there's no downside to it, right? So if you front load exam 1 and you do really good, you've now ensured that you can slack off a little bit on the future ones when you might be a lot busier. To counter that, if you study really hard and you still get a bad grade, you know what your weak points are. You know, all right, for this class, I'm just going to, for like pharmacology, I know I'm not good at it. Let me go to the professor, let me get help, I can tell them what I did. So you now have that time to be able to salvage it. Whereas if you decide to slack off on the first exam, you're making your future self miserable, and you're not telling yourself whether or not you're doing poorly because you didn't study, or you're doing poorly because you just don't understand it. So there's zero downside besides time to doing really good on the first exams. So take that into consideration, because it is a huge help knowing that I have this cushion now. I have a cushion for a lot of my classes, and I am so very thankful for that. So that's just my advice for you. Um, front load, front load, front load, front load, because you don't know what the future exams are going to be like, and if the final is cumulative, why would you want to do the best on the final when it's cumulative? So let's say exam 1 was 50 slides, exam 2 was 50 slides. It's cumulative, all right, that's 100 slides for a 3 exam course. So, actually it'd be more than that, but anyway. So if you just did good on the first 50 slides, and then equally as good on the middle 50 slides, well, you don't need to care about the last one where it covers all of them. Just do good on the first couple, and then you can have that breathing room at the end of it. Plus, because you studied so hard in the beginning, you're still probably going to have that material retained, so you don't need to study as hard for the final to get the same equivalent grade. That's just my advice for you. It's working well for me so far, and I will be the first one to tell you if it stops working. If it ends up that system is miserable and wrong, then I will freely admit to you that I was wrong. Otherwise, I'm just going to stick with it for now. How long is the video? 11 minutes? That's not, well, 12. Let me pause it, see if there's anything else I need to talk about real quick. Okay, one other thing. Dang, I just forgot it. Oh yeah, so if you have 50 slides of like physiology, right? Just picking a random course. If you have 50 slides of physiology, try to find like the central message in all of them. Because if all of the slides say something different, like if one of them goes, right, just random stuff here, right? If one of them goes brain, the next one's liver, the next one's kidney, and then small intestine, and then like pancreas, gallbladder, right? There might not be a central theme. You might just have to learn each of those things separately. But if you can find the central theme of it all, like let's say, all right, it covered all of those different organs, but it's talking about how the nervous system interacts with all of them. Do your best to learn the commonalities between all of them, like chunk the information. That way you're not learning as many random facts. You're learning a central core of information that can then give you the external facts. That's one thing that's probably going to help me on this upcoming physiology exam next week, is being able to pick apart the information and find the core that will then spread and hold true for everything else. So that's another little piece of advice from me. Other than that, keeping really good track of notes is a good thing. This is the notebook I use. I don't think I've showed it yet. Not sponsored, not paid, not nothing, right? This carried me through undergrad. I got this at Walmart, and it's currently carrying me through this program as well. So the reason I like this one is it breaks down the months. So there we go. This is what the inside looks like. So there you can see a full layout of the month, and you can write in like, oh, I've got an exam on the whatever, and then you can see it upcoming. You can keep track of the days. I go through and cross out the days as I go. And then beyond that, it gives you a space to write down. Ooh, it is not wanting to focus. Let's go back. And then let's go forward. Oh, wow, it's focused really up close, huh? Okay, you might be able to, there it goes. So it breaks down each week where you can write in what you've got going on. I just do like one class per line. So I'll go for like anatomy, intro to clin, airway, and I'll just do it that way. So I could just break it down line by line. And it's a lot more concise. And all the information I need for the entire day is right there. So the moment I'm done with classes for the day, I'll sit down, I'll go through this, write down what I have to do for each class. I'll assign a priority of like, all right, this one's due tonight. That's number 1. Number 2, I've got an exam next week. I'll study for that. Number 3 is getting ahead. I'll put that one last. And I just cross them out as I go. Huge saver for me. I love having this notebook because by the end of it, you can also go back through and track how far you've come. And you get to see Like, all right, I've come a long way. I've done a lot. Because I vividly remember being in like the second or third week of June and feeling like, oh man, I haven't done like anything. It's gonna take so long to fill up this notebook. It's gonna take forever. Like this week has already felt like so long, and I've got like I don't know, like 20 of them left before our next major event, and it's just like ugh. But now I look back at June and I'm like, dude, I barely remember June. Like that went by so quick, and I'm already halfway through July. So it's a good way to recognize how far you've come. And for me at least, I really like that. It kind of gives me that feeling of accomplishment because I can look back and be like, okay, I've done well. So that's just the notebook I like. Yeah, that's really all I can think of. If not, then I'll just post another little video. I'll probably make a video before finals. So let's see. I don't really see the need to make another video until a little while. So I'm probably going to make a video somewhere around July 28th-ish. But other than that, I'll go ahead and let you go. And I appreciate your time listening to me. Hopefully this advice helped you a little bit. Once again, these videos are not posted live. This video, I have no idea when it will get posted, but it is not getting posted today. So, best way to reach me is probably going to be through the comments, or if I end up leaving an email in the video description, then that would be the best way. You could ask me questions that way. If I end up making an Instagram for this account, then of course I'll post that, and you guys will be the first ones to know. But other than that, I'll go ahead and end it here. So, thanks for spending your time with me, and best of luck on all of your future endeavors.